Hello, friends from the manga world. My name is G,
I'm Hector.
and we're here to talk about the new releases for manga coming out in November 2022. Hector and I work for Penguin Random House, so the titles we'll talk about are from those publishers that we can sell around the world. Please note that some of the titles might have sales restrictions by country, but if you are unsure and have any questions, definitely reach out to the both of us. And also, there are many changes that are happening with production all across the industry. So you may see titles that we talked about previously show up in our discussion today with these November releases. So with that, we'll begin our presentation just so that you know the format. We'll start with our manga picks, then we'll cover new volume ones, and then we'll look at the rest of the list for November. So
Yep.
starting out, we have my pick.
Yeah.
And this is
Here we go.
cool. This is
Yes.
X Yakuza and Stray Kitten Volume 1. This is by Riddle Kamamura. And as
It combines two of your favorite things, G.
yeah, I
Yakuza and kitten.
I love reformed gangster
Yeah.
stories,
Mhm.
and this is definitely one of them. And as many abandoned kitten stories start, we have a cold, rainy day, and a tiny kitten named Sabu is abandoned on the side of the road, and in comes this retired Yakuza boss who is extremely scary looking, and I want to show you interior images so you can see. The cat is completely freaked out because he has a scary face, his hands are scarred, and the cat's like, what am I getting myself into? Is this worse? Being saved by this guy? But it turns out that he's soft at heart, bottle feeds the cat, pampers the cat to no end. This is a very sweet and hilarious story, so definitely pick it up.
Yeah. And the next pick, it's mine. It's Noise. This is by Tomo Naihei. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And it is a prequel to Blame, the very successful manga and anime. And the story of Noise, uh, really, it's just a dark science fiction kind of a detective. This is detective, sorry, with Zoe Susono, who investigates child kidnappings in the world of Blame, and her own partner was viciously murdered. And then when the investigation starts, there's a brutal turn of events, and she suddenly is confronted by the killer. So it sounds like a very cool, action-packed, sci-fi-packed story. For those of you who don't know, Blame takes place in a future Earth, and it takes place in this city that has evolved and evolved around throughout time, and it's so big. It's such a mega city that people forget the name of the country it's on. That's how big it is, and a lot of things happen, and there's a lot of AI and a lot of sort of infighting between different factions and all that. So I'm really glad. I'm a big fan of Blame, and I'm really glad that we're getting a prequel for it. And also, I did want to mention that the creator of Noise is also the creator of Knights of Sidonia, which is also really good, and Oppositions, which I never pronounced correctly, but it's also very cool. So pick it up, definitely.
Next up for my pick is a very different shift in tone.
Yep.
This is No Longer Human Complete Edition manga. Now, this manga is actually based off of a novel by Osamu Dazai, and that novel is considered as a classic and a masterpiece in Japan. And so this is retold in a manga format by creator Usamaru Furuya. And Usamaru, this is actually a 3-in-1, so there's 3 parts in this complete collection. And Usamaru inserts himself and makes an appearance at the beginning of each part. What's very interesting about this story is that it's semi-autobiographical, and unfortunately, Dazai had a struggling life, And this is a trigger warning here. He tried to commit suicide multiple times throughout his life with his consorts, and eventually was successful and died shortly after writing the last part of the novel. And so the story details the life of a young man, and many people assume, because it's semi-autobiographical, himself. And it details his life as a young man who has lingering trauma from abuse from a relative, and exists in sort of like a hollowed out, like, again, like the title implies, like it feels not human because of that experience. So it's a very grim and sad and an unfortunate story about Dazai. But it's also an interesting part of history for those who want to read about the life of this man. And so another thing to take note of, the creator here, Usamaru, is taking Western audiences in mind. So it's actually going to be presented from left to right instead of right to left in the physical edition that you'll see here.
Very cool. Yes. And next pick is mine. And talking about going, to something completely different. The Titan's Bride, Volume 1 by ITKZ, I guess. And this has been adapted into anime, but now we're getting it in English. And yeah, what you see there is pretty much what this is. It's a high school student who it's very popular. It happens to be, basketball star and all. And one day, all of a sudden, he gets transported into another world. So this is a mature rated boys love fantasy isekai. So it combines all of that in there. And so he's transported to this other world. It's specifically in front of this Titan that you see here. It's a world with giants. And this is a Titan prince. And the prince tells him, well, I'm glad you finally showed up because you are the bride you've been promised to me. Because there's a prophecy that says that as a prince, I cannot become a king until I marry somebody not from this world. So the story that's it. That's the story. It obviously opens the door for so much. Not just like drama, but also so much comedy. The back cover of this has we're not going to show it here, but you can look it up. It has them sitting next to each other at a dinner table, and you see him the high school boy just holding giant knife and forks. And so it looks extremely funny. We also have some interiors. So it'll give you a little bit of a sense of what the story is going to be like. So, there's a little bit of sort of nervousness and cuteness, and then all of a sudden he gets carried away on one shoulder of the giant, the Titan. So I think it's going to be very cool. Like I said, it is rated mature. This is part of the new boys love line that imprint that Seven Seas has started recently. And we're going to get to see a lot of titles like this, and I think it's very cool.
So with this one, unlike some other editions, it's completely uncensored with this version, which is good. So
yes, that's why I keep mentioning mature. Thank you for bringing that up. What I mean by mature, it's mature. Just so you know. Yeah.
All right, and then actually we're gonna start this next section with new releases for Volume 1. So I'll get started with this. And first up, I Am Actually the Strongest, ? Volume 1 light novel. To be reincarnated into another world with the promise of a cheap power is one thing, but then to be reborn as a baby and then left for dead after your royal parents think you're powerless, that's another thing entirely. Join Haradu, the socially awkward guy who just wants to chill out as he navigates demon friendships, royal feuds, assassination plots, and secret superhero identities, and having a little sister. Next up for Volume 1, we have As a Reincarnated Aristocrat, I'll Use My Appraisal Skills to Rise in the World, Volume 1 manga. A salaryman suffers a heart attack and is reborn in another world as a child of an aristocratic house. Through lacking in physical strength, using his appraisal skill, which lets him see the stats of others, the salaryman Ars recruits the best people to his side in order to take his country, to turn his country around. And then following that, we have the volume 2 of the manga. And then we have Asumi-chan is interested in Lesbian Brothels Volume 1. Very telling with the cover of that, manga. Asumi never got over her childhood crush on her old friend Mai. When she discovers that Mai may be working at a nearby brothel, she sees her chance. There's only one catch. None of the girls on the brothel's website use their real names. So will she be able to find her? Is it possible that Mai is also searching for her too? You'll have to find out and pick this up.
Yep, and we continue with number ones and one shots, we should have mentioned. And this is Avant-Garde Yumiko. And this is a story of a high schooler. Yumiko is your ordinary high school girl, except she's upset with seeing the male body part in real life. Determined, Yumiko decides to join the art club at school. And this is obviously 18 plus. I don't know why I'm getting all the mature stuff this time. Anyways, then we continue with Ayakashi Triangle, Volume 1. And this tells the story of Matsuri Kazamaki, whose job as an exorcist ninja means that his livelihood depends on driving away the Yakashi spirit who endangers humans. He's been protecting his childhood friend Suzu Kanade from the shadows for years as she effortlessly attracts Ayakashi. What will happen when Suzu encounters a creature who looks like a simple cat, but who is really Shigeru Rogani, the kind of Akagashi. Oh my God, this description really killed me. Sorry about that. And next up, we have Free Life Fantasy Online Immortal Princess Light Novel Volume 1. And the manga Volume 2 is also coming out this month. And the story is Tsukishiro Kotone doesn't consider herself much of a gamer. That is until she's introduced to the virtual reality game Free Life Fantasy Online. Kotone decides to become a zombie, a race that's said to be quite difficult to master. Little does she know that this game is about to become a huge part of her real life.
Next up, we have Futari Escape, Volume 1. It's about two young women, one an overworked manga artist and the other a complete slacker. And they're trying to escape the realities of adult responsibilities, which is very relatable. So they do things like take a day trip instead of being productive, or like they go into debt by purchasing some epic meals. So this is a delightful slice of life tale about the little pleasures in ducking away from hard stuff and responsibilities. Next up is The Ghost in the Shell fully compiled complete hardcover collection. This is all of Shiro's original The Ghost in the Shell manga in one massive hardcover, making this the ultimate collector's edition for this cyberpunk classic. This contains Ghost in the Shell 1, 1.5, and 2, and covers over 100 pages of manga material. And the exclusive cover that you'll see up here was created for this edition by Shiro. Following that is Goco Loser Ranger Volume 1. When the monster army invaded Earth 13 years ago, the Divine Dragon Rangers rose up to stop them. With the war raging on, these great heroes are mankind's last hope, a new anti-ranger action comedy that will make you root for the alien invaders, perfect for fans of Kaiju number 8 and Power Rangers. And then we have, I get the feeling that Nabukuni-san likes me, Volume 1. I'm getting tripped over now. Nabuki Kuni is in love with Sasaki, a boy who sits next to her in class. but how can she get him to notice her? Not getting much of a reaction, so she fears it isn't working, and little does she know that he's hiding some secret feelings of his own. A delightful romantic comedy about young passion and the awkward act of seduction.
Yes. And we continue with I am a terminal cancer patient, but I'm fine. More of a serious note. At 30 years old, Hilnama, an erotic manga artist, is diagnosed with colon cancer. When faced with the struggles and trials of life, Hilnama turns to what she knows, writing and creating manga. This poignant and down-to-earth account of living with terminal cancer is a testament to the author's perseverance in the face of opposite odds. And as you can see on the cover, she portrays herself as a bunny. So it makes such a dramatic and hard story go down a little bit easier. Next, we have In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, #1, Joy Takiguchi's long legs, deep voice, and handsome face are the perfect recipe for an attractive guy until people realize she is, in fact, a girl. She bumps into Ichimura-senpai, the school's other prince, who's a he, and gets a taste of what it feels like to be seen for her true self. The story of the two high school princesses starts here. And then we continue with Let's Buy the Land and Cultivate It in a Different World manga, volume 1. In this fantasy isekai story, a salaryman sent to another world chooses a farming life over adventure and ends up with a mermaid wife. How long can his quiet country life last? Well, we wouldn't have a manga if we stayed quiet. Then we continue with an older guy's VR first love. And we have Naoki is an older guy, 40 years old to be exact, lives a mundane single life in the real world, but enjoys venturing into the VR world as a female avatar. One day in the VR world, he meets a young happy-go-lucky girl named Honami, whom he slowly becomes attracted to. But who is the real Honami and what will become of their relationship? Well, I guess you have to read it to find out.
Mm-hmm. Right, next up we have Fire Force Omnibus 1. This collects volumes 1 to 3. In the year 198 of the Age of the Sun, Tokyo is crowded cosmopolis, but the world's most populous city is threatened by devils that cause people to burst into flames at random. The only ones who can stop it are the Pyro Fighters, a team of specialized firefighters. This is also a very riveting anime as well. And that's the omnibus version, but we also have continuing on the volume 29 coming out in November. Following that, we have Though I Am an Inept Villainess, Tale of the Butterfly Rat Body Swap in the Maiden Court manga, volume 1. We also have the light novel, volume 2. So prepare for the swirling court intrigue in this magical trading places tale of maidens competing for the crown. And again, you don't want to miss out on the light novels, both the volume 1 and 2, as you'll see.
Next up is, I'm really excited about this, Parasite Full Color Collection #1. It is a colored edition like we did for they had for Attack on Titan, but now with Parasite, of this amazing manga and anime that was being so successful. This is a sci-fi horror manga classic, returns in a fully colorized premium quality hardcover for the first time. If you've never read the story of Shinichi and the polite and murderous alien infesting his right arm, or even if you already own the series, there's never been a better way to collect it. Presented in 8 volumes containing about 300 pages of manga each. Next, we continue with Thunderball Fantasy Omnibus 1, collecting volumes 1 and 2. And in an ancient kingdom, a vicious warlord is on the hunt for a magic sword. Legend says its power is great enough to smite demons and shake the heavens. Dan Fei must rely on the unexpected help of 2 unusual strangers to guard the sword from evil hands. And next up, Tokyo Aliens 1. This is a thrilling sci-fi fantasy series welcomes you to Japan, a top 10 destination for extraterrestrials looking for refuge, relaxation, a good time, or just to raise a little hell. Join one unsuspecting Tokyoite as he discovers the intergalactic tourist relations can prove to be a lot more dangerous than they seem. Sounds very, very cool and up my alley. Next, Wistoria, Wand and Sword 1, the new magical dungeon adventure fantasy series from the author of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Seeking to fulfill a promise to a childhood friend, Will Surford enters Regarding Magical Academy. There's just one problem. He can't use magic. Will his sword skills be the key to unlocking his true potential?
All right, and then finally we have the Witcher Ronin manga, presenting a new original manga in the Witcher universe based on the rich traditions of Japanese folklore. In a new world inspired by Edo period Japan, Geralt is faced with difficult moral choices while battling a variety of yokai and oni creatures inspired by Japanese myths. Each encounter drops of a clue in his desperate search for a mysterious apparition known as the Lady of Snow, for she is the key to who Geralt seeks, but finding her won't be easy. Next up, we have Yakuza Fiance Raised with Tanin Gali, Volume 1. In this critically acclaimed romantic crime drama, a Yakuza granddaughter is sent from Osaka to marry the grandson of a rival family in Tokyo. At first, he seems amiable and polite, but when he shows his dark side, he proves to be more disturbing than any gangster she has ever met. This engagement is sure to be a wild ride for a tough Yakuza princess and her twisted Yakuza prince. And then we have You Like Me, Not My Daughter, manga volume 1. Ever since her sister and brother-in-law died in a car accident 10 years ago, 30-something-year-old Ayako has been raising her niece, Miu, as her own daughter. Ayako has begun to worry about the boys that might want to date Miu, especially their neighbor Takumi. But Ayako gets the shock of her life. It's not Miu he's got feelings for, it's her.
And that's it for our number ones and one shots that are coming out during the month of November. And now we're going to go really quick through the rest of the list, starting with some box sets. We have the Attack on Titan, the final season part 2 manga box set. Then we have also the Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga box set. We continue with Rent a Girlfriend manga box set 1. And then we have the Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 1 Part 2 manga box set. And Wotakoi Love is Hard for Otaku Complete manga box set. And on the bottom row, you're going to start talking about some of the other titles that are coming out of continuing some of our amazing series. And we have obviously Attack on Titan Omnibus 7, which collects volume 19 to 21. And we also have Attack on Titan Colossal Edition. And the best of Attack on Titan in color, now the volume 2. All these are coming in November, like I mentioned before. And then we also have Rent a Girlfriend Really Shy Girlfriend 3 and Rent a Girlfriend 15.
Continuing on, we have the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, Volume 4. I think I got all the reallys.
I love that title.
It's great. Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor, Volume 15. Arif Futa, From the Commonplace to World's Strongest, Volume 12 light novel. But we also have the Volume 7 and Volume 9 manga. Beauty and the Feast, Volume 5. I absolutely love that cover.
Yes.
Blackguard, Volume 5. And then with Blue Period, we have Volume 10 and 11. And By the Grace of the Gods, Volume 6 manga.
And next up is Call Girl in Another World, Volume 5. We also have Citrus Plus, Volume 4. Classmates, Volume 6, blank. Then we have for Classroom of the Elite, we have the volume 4 of the manga, and we have volume 3 of the light novel for the year 2. And then we have Crossplay Love Otaku X Punk volume 2. And we continue with Disciple of the Lich, or How I Was Cursed by the Gods and Dropped into the Abyss, light novel volume 4. And then we have Do You Like Big Girls, volume 5. Continue with Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, number 13, and Drifting Dragons, number 11.
Next up, we have Dungeon Builder, The Demon King's Labyrinth in a modern city. This is the volume 6 manga. The Dungeon of Black Company, volume 8. Eden Zero, volume 19. Era Ninja Scrolls, volume 4. Even Though We're Adults, volume 5. Failed Princesses, volume 6. Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, volume 11. A Galaxy Next Door, volume 3. The Great Jahi Will Not Be Defeated, volume 4. Hello Melancholic, volume 3.
Still more to come. So the Hero Life of a Self-Proclaimed Mediocre Demon, 7. And then we have I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, light novel, volume 2. And the very successful I Think Our Son Is Gay, volume 4. And we continue with I Was Reincarnated as a 7th Prince so I Can Take My Time Perfecting My Magical Ability too. And then I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, light novel, volume 3. I love this one, by the way. Then there's the Ice Blaze Sorcerer Shall Rule the World 2, which we saw a teaser for the anime. It was dropped this week. I highly recommend you check it out. Then we have the Ideal Sponger Live, volume 12. Continue with I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess manga, volume 2. And we have Katanagatari 2, light novel. And Might As Well Cheat, I Got Transported to Another World Where I Can Live My Wildest Dreams, manga, volume 4.
All right, next up, Modern Villainous. It's Not Easy Building a Corporate Empire Before the Crash, light novel, volume 2. The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan. This is the volume 3 light novel. The most, we also have the manga that's also a volume 3 that's coming out in November as well. Mishoku Tensei, Jobless, Reincarnation, light novel, volume 19. My repair skill became a versatile cheat, so I think I'll open a weapon shop, manga, volume 2. That's logical.
Yeah, of course.
My Next Life as a Villainous Side Story on the Verge of Doom, manga, volume 3. Namikawa-san Won't Take a Licking, volume 2. I absolutely love that title.
Yep.
Noragami Omnibus 2. This collects volume 4 to 6. And Orient, volume 11. And Peach Boy Riverside, volume 9.
Yes. And we have now Phantom of the Idol 3. Then we have Psychopath Inspector Shinja Kogami, volume 5. Ragnar Crimson, 7. Then we have Reborn as a Space Mercenary. I Woke Up Piloting the Strongest Starship, light novel, volume 5. And we also have the manga for that, volume 4. And then we have the Saint Magic Power of is Omnipotent, light novel, volume 7. We continue with Sayonara Football, 13. And then we have Seaside Stranger, volume 5. Harukusa no Etanger. Sorry about that. And then we have the 7 Deadly Sins Omnibus 6, which includes volume 16 to 18, and also the 7 Deadly Sins 4 Nights of the Apocalypse 5. And I think it continues on the next one with 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, so we continue with the 7 Deadly Sins 4 Nights of Apocalypse, but this is the volume 6. We have the Shaman King Omnibus Omnibus 11, but it collects volumes 31 to 33. Also a great anime to pick up if you haven't done so. We have Sino Alice volume 2, and I love And
Yeah.
Hector knows this.
Yeah,
I love
favorite.
Skip and Buffer. This is volume 6. Be on the lookout because there's going to be an anime for this releasing later on.
And this is probably the tamest cover as far as her facial expression. It's the first time ever I've seen her expression be just normal, on a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's Wrong with Us, volume 11. Soul Eater, the Perfect Edition, volume 9. The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, volume 9. And Tamamo-chan's A Fox, volume 6.
Next up is This Is Screwed Up, But I Was Reincarnated as a Girl in Another World, manga, volume 4. Tokyo Revengers, Omnibus, volume 5 and 6. Then we have Trapped in the Dating Scene. The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, manga, volume 6. UQ Holder 27. Sorry, UQ Holder 27, because I have like an exclamation. The Wicked Stamer began a journey to pick up Crash, manga, volume 2. And When Will Yumu Make His Move, 8. Witch Hat Atelier 10, Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games, volume 4. And Jury Is My Job, 10.
And that concludes the new manga releases for November 2022. As always, reach out to Hector and I for any questions that you may have. We do these overviews every month, so be on the lookout. So definitely reach out to us, comment below, subscribe, and look out for our updates on this channel as well. I'll also link our social medias down in the description below as well. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.